Yes, I'm the last of the presenters, and mine will be quite quick because when I was thinking about what I was going to do, I decided I would just tell you a little bit of what I do, what I have been doing over the past couple of years. So I am Julie Crooks, and I am a doctoral candidate at the School of Oriental and African Studies at the University of London, but I've grown up here in Toronto. I can finally say that I finished that dissertation. I say that particularly for Ronaldo, who every time I run into him says, "So are you done yet?" And for other people, so I am done. So I want to kind of go through very quickly what my dissertation project is about. So it's broadly concerned with the history of photography in Sierra Leone, West Africa, from the late 19th century to the present. And I chose Sierra Leone, Freetown in particular, because that is my father's background. My father was from Freetown. My mother was from Barbados. They met in London, so I'm a child of that mix. Or in Freetown, they would say, Shina Salom Pekin, which basically translates to she is a child of Sierra Leone. So that generally, the past 2 decades has witnessed this upsurge in critical interest and research on early African colonial photography and its histories in former colonial contexts, such as Ghana, formerly the Gold Coast, Senegal, the Gambia, and Nigeria, to name but a few. My project is a dialogue with such current research and situates histories of photography in Sierra Leone within the context of cultural studies, art criticism, politics, and theories of modernity and globalization. Viewing it as a complex medium that Africans have used to negotiate modernity and fashion identities. My picture did come up, so I'm happy. My project specifically focuses on Sierra Leonean photographer Alfonso Liscaroux, who was born in 1888 and died in 1969, whose work spanned the turn of the 19th century and well into the 20th. His work also highlights the formation and configurement of a cosmopolitan region made up of multiple and contested cultural identities. He was an exemplar of Freetown photographers, decidedly the most prolific, and I examined the ways in which Liscaroux participated in negotiating the project of modernity and the making of a contemporary society through his prolific picture taking. And this is so his work basically, there's a range in which he was working, a range of eras from around 1905. This is an image from the 20s. So this is one of the underlying questions of my dissertation that seeks to unveil a historiography of Sierra Leone through the photographic archives and the practice of a national iconic figure in Alfonso Liscaroux. There were huge archives and admittedly sometimes unorthodox archives that I consulted. There's a lot of bribery that I had to partake in terms of getting access to the archives in Sierra Leone. All of these methods reveal the contradictions and ambiguities that were shaped by the discourses of colonial relations and racialized identities in a space like Freetown. They nevertheless offer insights on the struggles that shaped such encounters that helped to facilitate the emerging politics of the nation and local modernities. This is another photograph. Many of his photographs were eventually turned into postcards. And he was really quite visionary in that regard, in that he was also the publisher of some of these photographs. Many times the captions that would, or the texts that would be inscribed on the postcards were not necessarily created by the the photographer or postcard publisher himself. So Alfonso Carew may not have actually placed this text, all dressed up Mandingo girls, which places the subjects as types on the image. So in the post-colonial era, as a result of Sierra Leone's civil strife, Sierra Leone was involved in an 11-year civil war. My dissertation further explores the current conjecture and post-conflict era and raises questions about what happens when photographic archives have been decimated and made vulnerable, and what kinds of reimagining and reconstituting of institutional and personal family archives are possible among survivors and in the generations that follow. So I'm also very interested in, the fact that a lot of the photographs have disappeared, are, as you can see, weathered and destroyed. The archives in Sierra Leone or in Freetown is basically a little office. It's dusty, and frankly, most people are not concerned about the preservation of these images. They're more concerned with abject poverty and crumbling infrastructures and corrupt governments. So I'm trying to reclaim these archives and take a second look at how to preserve these images as best we can. And so very quickly, also about me, I'm also an educator. I started my teaching career here, well, kind of here, but also at York University, where I developed a course in African art, a survey course in African art. I then came to OCAD and I taught a course in art of the African diaspora. And most recently, I taught courses at the UT and at OCAD in the history of photography in Africa and the exhibition history of art of Africa at the University of Toronto. And currently, post this, I am working on a project called On Africa at the ROM, and it's a collaboration with Dominique Fonte, who is here. And we are going to present a little bit about what this project is about tomorrow. So thank you very much.